This one's on. We're good. We're rolling. All right.
Love it.
All right, Marc. Welcome to the podcast. I'm not sure if it's going to go episode 1 or episode 2 or episode 3, but you're one of the first.
Love
it. I appreciate that. What we're trying to do on this podcast is not only content creators or influencers, but more just like creative professions.
Okay.
Getting the behind the scenes, really like tactical takeaways for people, like things that you can do, learning about the craft, a bit about you, your insights, your experiences, to hopefully help other people out. So what I'm trying to do, and this is kind of the number one thing I run into when I talk to other people that like work as a creator. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows how to describe what they do. And it's like the simplest, we all do like a whole bunch of other things other than the actual thing. And we feel like it doesn't actually like package. So my way to introduce people that I think is like a simple way to get it to work is what if you were in an Uber and you're in a new city and the Uber driver asks you who you are and what you do. What's your one sentence kind of answer that you can throw at them?
That's funny because I do this very often.
Okay.
Like I'm always in a new city in an Uber and they always ask me that.
And it's
Where
never
you
a
from?
clear
What
answer.
Are you doing? Well, no, I try and be as concise. I just say comedian out the gate. And
Really?
I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm a comedian. And they're like, oh, great. But then there's a trail of questions where they're trying to figure out what type of comedian or what you do, how you do it, and whatever, which pisses me off. So like I should have a little bit more of a long-winded answer. But yeah, I would just blanket it with comedian and let that blanket online and live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's basically.
Do they just default like what's the Instagram? Like,
no, they're just like, oh, so like you perform? And I'm like, yes.
Perform,
Yeah, like,
exactly.
Where? How? Here? You're here doing that, or you're on vacation here? I'm like, no, I'm here doing that. And they're like, oh, where? There's nowhere here. I'm like, there's a comedy club.
Hilarious.
That you're driving me to.
Yeah,
so,
it's literally the route. Like that's the destination.
Yeah, I'm like, we're going from the airport to the comedy club. Like this is not, so. But also, thanks for having me, by the way.
Yeah,
and
no
being
worries.
One of the first.
I feel like you're in a. So I think comedians are actually really interesting, especially as a niche, because unlike kind of like what I do, like you have a profession, like there's a career path. You know what I mean? Like, whereas for me, it's like if I say photographer, that actually like cancels out 90% of the the back end, right?
Right.
And a lot of photographers, it's like the same way. Like they don't realize that you actually might be able to run ads or whatever. Whereas if you wanted to be a stand-up comedian and not do social media, it might be harder.
Right.
But that's a thing, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah, I see what you're saying. But comedy is very similar where there's no blueprint of it, at least, post, 1999, where like before it was like, oh, you perform, you get your late night show, then you get your TV show. It's like, it's a very simple route to being Jerry Seinfeld or famous, you know what I mean? Whereas now it's like, every couple of years the landscape changes a bit and then, for example, like social media and you have to adapt or you're just going to be a guy who does the road all the time and no one's ever going to know you by doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I totally know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? So is that because of social media then? That it kind of messed things up or?
Yeah, I'd say the niche, how do I put this? Like there being multiple niches within comedy now, like a YouTuber, there's comedy YouTubers, there's comedy TikTokers, comedy streamers, all this kind of stuff. Whereas like before when you said comedian, it was like just a stand-up or, a sketch performer like SNL or whatever, or in movies and comedy acting. Like it was kind of one or two things. Now it's like you can be a comedy baker. It doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and just sub niche it to the, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I think online really fucked that up. Because like, anybody can be famous in their own little universe of like, whatever, a guy who wears dragon makeup and does fucking, can we swear on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that does fucking, Twitch streaming. And, and like does it in a British accent. You're like, who the fuck is watching this? But somebody is. So, because of that, you kind of have to find your niche with viewership, live, in person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of made it a little bit more complicated.
That's hilarious because even like when I was starting out in the pandemic before it kind of started rolling and you're in the early days, you're just kind of like, what works? Like, what do I do? Like you're kind of sporadic with it.
Right.
My sister goes, why don't you do like photography skits? I was like, what? Like, what do you? She's like, well, why don't you make fun of like photographers and like things about I'm like, that's the worst idea. Like, that's not
I
a
should
thing.
do that.
Yeah, you should do that. I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to get jobs as a photographer. Like, who's going to watch that?
Right.
Like, but it's true because it's almost like the subculture to the niche now has its own following, if that makes sense. But
no, absolutely. Yeah.
like,
yeah.
so I guess like that's, so then for you, what's your mix? Like, are you social media comedian? Is that where you think things are going, or is it like?
I mean, well, I use the social media to put people in seats. Like, that's the goal, is to like, okay, how can we grow my following to the point where people are going to come and see me live or buy my merch or whatever, just drive it to revenue somehow, you know?
Okay.
So like, I have to have a product that they can buy, whether that's a ticket or, you know what I mean, a piece of merch, an album, whatever. So that's sort of all been the goal, is just build the fan base, you know? So I'm trying to use that. And how does that categorize me? I don't know, because I feel like you need to be doing all of it if you really want to blow up, because like now I can name you like a bunch of comedians, I don't want to name them, but I can, that like have 5 or 6 late night show appearances and you have no idea who they are.
Right.
Whereas, you know, back in the 90s or even early 2000s, you would know who I'm talking about, because you're like, oh yeah, he was on Fallon or Conan or whatever. Now it's like you can get 5 late night shows, no one knows who the fuck you are. You can be on America's Got Talent, no one knows who you are. Like, so unless you're in front of people all day long, and the best way to reach people is on your phone, right? You reach millions of people. So, I mean, it's just dumb not to. You get phased out.
Yeah.
Or you'll just be stuck in your niche, and it'll be way harder. Where it's like, if you're just a road comic, buddy, good luck. You got to go to Alberta. Like, you know what I mean? I played Canada, 10 times, coast to coast. I go back there maybe, like in certain places, some people come back because the last show was great, that they saw me, or they started to follow me, whatever. But again, it's because they followed me.
Right.
I have buddies do that tour. They've been touring the same material for 20 years, coast to coast. No one goes back to see them every single time. And
That's
I'm like,
wild.
what are you doing? You're just doing it to get, you know, your paycheck, and that's it.
So did it ever then, like when you started, I guess maybe let's start with like just the journey to get to, let's say, comedian. Because I think my curiosity, after we maybe talk about that a little bit, is when do you feel it kind of, I mean, obviously you said like do it all,
Right.
but in a way, if you wanted to do one or the other, like it still is a thing. Like when did you kind of feel that like pull to make it all happen from the initial, like, I think I want to do stand up? Like,
Right.
what does the journey kind of come out to be?
That's a good question. And I'm a rambler, so I'm trying to make these
No,
more
let's do it, man.
concise.
Ramble away.
Ramble on. I'd say like Humber kind of drove me to do stand-up. Like I would have never done that unless I
Right.
was forced to do it, because I didn't think that was, because like I did public speaking as a kid, and like that freaked me out. Like at school, speeches and shit,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, this is the worst. You know, I'd get so much anxiety and like, fuck, just want to kill myself. So Humber made me do the stand-up, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to be doing this forever. This is great. I feel like I found what I'm supposed to do, all the cliche shit. And then, you know, I'm doing that like, okay, you play the clubs, you grow, you know, the landscape is there where it's like, you get in with a club, you do American festivals, Canadian festivals, try and, you know, build up, be a headliner and so on. So then that happens. Now I'm headlining clubs everywhere. Great. But I'm still making no money. So this sucked. Now what? You know what I mean? Then the pandemic happened, and I was like, okay, well, how can I still either A, perform, did some Zoom shows, and B, utilize the following, get people to see me being funny all the time. And then that's sort of kind of what it boils down to, is like you just go, okay, how can I use every medium in my favor? Okay, people want to follow you because you're funny, so they want to see you be funny. Okay, how can I be funny in every way possible on every medium, you know, without burning out and shit? So that kind of sparked the socials. And then when I started seeing money come in from socials, I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to go to Alberta and, you know, do 30 days away from Toronto and 30 days away from home to make $5,000 or whatever the fuck, right? After expenses, you come home, sometimes you're out there, gigs cancel, you want to blow your head off, and you're like, this fucking sucks. So yeah, then I went on tour with Nima, and that was a big catalyst for me because he sold out just nationwide, just every single show was sold out, even whether it was in a room the size of this or fucking theaters. And you're like, okay, so this is like, there was one actual moment that really freaked me out. We went to, we were in Calgary and we added a second show, and there was like maybe 40 tickets, but there was about 200 capacity. We go to the mall. His brother, who's his manager, is like, go to the mall and just like start telling people about the show. Dude, we went to the mall and it was fucking mayhem. Like everybody and their brother was like, holy fuck, you're those guys. Let's take a photo. I tried to get tickets to your show, it sold out. And we're like, no, we added a second show. We sold the show out in like 3 hours. And I was like, just from being at the mall, spending the day, eat the food court, whatever. And I'm like, just from walking around, this guy's just human PR. And I'm like, it's crazy. And he sold it out. And I was like, okay, this is the fucking play here, you know?
Yeah.
So then when I came home, I'm like, okay, this is, you just have to, take even 6 months off. I'm not doing that, but I should. Just because I'm still in a little bit of an in-between crossover where I'm not getting as much money online as like, him and Austin and other guys I work with. So I'm like, okay, you fuel the online and that's it. Like, it's just gonna be, I don't even know if I'm articulating this properly at all.
I think you're definitely touching on like where this is where then I come in, right? Where it's like when somebody identifies the need to have that brand awareness piece and fill the pipe. And now it's questions around like, well, how do we do that more efficiently? How do we like X, Y, Z, right?
Exactly.
It's interesting though that you brought this up. There's like a few things in there that like I really want to dig at. But I think but like conceptually, it really was like I want to do stand-up comedian, or I want to be a stand-up comedian. Like that was like the impetus.
Well,
and then it.
Yeah. Okay. So it was like I want to. Well, I mean, if I go really far back, it was like, I don't know what I want to do.
Right.
But I was at Seneca, York, like just writing funny shit and being a class clown idiot again, you know, just in post-secondary. I'm like, this is dumb. I'm wasting my time. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Second City. Didn't do that. And then found out about Humber. Went there and I was like, but I went there being like, okay, I want to be Mike Myers, Chris Farley, Jim Carrey, which is all comedy actors and sketch based. So in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to learn how to do sketch and improv. And then they're like, well, you also have to do stand-up to pass the grade, right? And I was like, oh, I really don't want to do that. And then did it and was
That's
like,
wild.
This is the best. You know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, finally that, like I felt like it all drove me to do that. And then I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then just put all my eggs in that basket. And then, all the hiccups along the way.
Right.
And then social media comes in at the right time. Then Nima and everybody else. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, certain things in life just pull you over to one side to keep fueling the other side, or like show you where you really should be or whatever, you know? So, yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, it's like, so before you got here, we were interviewing like kind of someone that's also in like the photography space and creator space. And we were talking about that moment where social media becomes real. And it's like, for me, I experienced it very early because I was doing street photography in the Netherlands, and it was a very small town. Like it was maybe 50,000 people, maybe 100,000. But like the way the city works out is like there's the core and then there's the outside. So like I was only ever really in the core, but I was the only one doing street photography there. And obviously the way Instagram works, it circulates locally.
Right.
So everybody was getting my photos and being like, who's taking like shots of this?
Yeah.
And eventually, because I was putting myself on my stories, it like got to a point where I would walk or like be in a cafe and somebody would go like, oh, you're that photo guy. Like you're taking the photos of the bridge or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's when I was like, this isn't a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like up until then, like you don't know if the platform's lying to you, or like, if like bot accounts, like you hear it all, right? Up until the moment where something happens in real life where you're like, oh my God, like these two things are actually and so that moment for you, because I remember talking to you before, and you've always kind of been on the fence about like the social and doing it, and like, and then I noticed at some point you got over that line, and you're like, no, I want to go hard at this. Right. Was that really was the mall for you, or was it like?
No, that was like, well, that is just kind of like when I was like, no, this should be more focused than anything else at the moment. You know what I mean? So. And I was like, okay, I'm watching someone wipe out the industry ladder. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like now there is it's just Nima and a fan base, and he can go anywhere and sell tickets. And it's like, okay, great. So he doesn't have to play clubs. He doesn't have to try and get into festivals. There is no more, okay, what do I have to do now? It's like, it's coming to him because of the following. So for that, I was like, that's what I have to do. But the real part was the Doug Ford stuff, like, because then people started shouting out at my shows, being like, "You're that Doug Ford guy, it just clicked in," or like, you know what I mean? People would shout at me and shit, or on the streets, like me and Austin would walk around after our first Doug and Justin Trudeau one that like it blew up quite a bit, and we'd be walking on the street and people would be yelling out of their cars. I'm like, okay, this is fucked. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, we should be doing this more, you know. And yeah, so I'm a little bit of a. This is my problem because I've got Austin on one side and Nima on the other side in terms of how they view it. They're both like, this is a business, whereas I'm like, I just want to make what's funny and put it out, right? And that's been my biggest problem. Whereas like, okay, but there's no formula, there's no repetitive, right? We have this conversation 100 times.
Yeah.
My retention rate is just trash because I'm like, no, I don't want to stick to anything. If I think of a funny idea and I want it to be in a car, I'm going to do that. If I don't want it to be one frame, I don't care, right? Whereas, you know, Austin's like, no, there's a formula. I'm going to find what works for me for the formula, the fastest way to put it out as much as I can that looks that way, and he explodes. Nima's the Gary Vee approach where it's everything all the time, always, you know? And I'm like, I'm sort of in the middle somewhere of like, fuck. They both have a point. They're both right in their own sense because they're both massive. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, if it's stopping me from putting out content, then I'm just a fucking idiot and it's all head games. But, you know, at the same time, it's the problem in all fucking arts where you're just like, stop trying to be a fucking comedy purist in your stupid brain. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. People just want to see you be funny. The problem is that my growth is slower because people are like, we don't know why we're necessarily following you because not everything you do post is funny to me. So it's harder to reach the masses, whereas Nima will put out 4 a day and cover one of everybody at some point in 2 days, whereas for me it might take 3 weeks, and by then you don't know about my account anymore. You know what I mean? So a lot of rambling. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. No, so it's also funny too because this is a conversation I have with everybody in every niche, and it's literally like there's 2 types of creatives, and there's the creative creator, and there's the business creator, and I always classified myself as being more on the business side. Is like I like the art, and but I'm never gonna be the best at the art. Like if I wanted to dedicate my life to filmmaking and creating beautiful visuals and what, you know, I could, but it actually doesn't like interest me as much to be the guy, you know, 20,000 feet under the water with a camera, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I'm
that's
not trying to make
somebody else.
Avatar.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And it's like interesting for me to hear you say that because in comedy it's the same thing.
Same thing.
In reality, right?
And it rips me because
Really?
all the time, every day, I butt heads with somebody about that. Just being like, well, no, let's just make what's funny. That's the birth of the idea. Never mind about this angle, that angle, making it look like this because our videos look like, and that happens all the time. And I'm just like, in the end of the day, this is my other issue with fucking content is some people like what's just relatable and not what's funny. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm always like, how is this funny? I don't give a fuck how it's relatable. It's gonna be relatable because it's funny. But whereas a lot of people just go, hey man, I love that stuff you're doing. And I'm like, well, that one that like had no jokes in it, I thought it was gonna tank. And they're like, yeah, but you know, that's exactly how it is. And I'm like, but there was no joke there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as a comic, that fucking drives me nuts. I'm like, no, man, it should be funny. You know what I mean? And like, you know, me and Austin were talking about the other day, he had that video with Laura Ramoso blow up, where it was like after Easter, you know, you're like bitching about what happened inside, right? And like husband and wife arguing. And he was like, man, there was no joke in this, but everyone loved it because they go, oh my God, that's me. And I'm like, okay, so content is comedy's being watered down for socials. They just know, they're like, oh my God, these are 2 funny people that I follow. They're making this, so it's funny that they're making this.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. You're not watching it laughing. You know what I mean? So it's that part of it really pisses me off because I'm stand-up minded where I'm like, no. If you're not laughing out loud, the joke failed, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the same fucking medium. So I have a very hard time getting over those humps, and it's my stupid brain that goes, if this isn't funny, like I'll film a video and be like, watch this. If you just go, I'm like, I'm not posting that. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't laugh, fuck that, you know? But anyways.
So I mean, honestly, like, there's like a few things like where I'm just like, man,
because I keep fucking.
No, but it's good. It's really good. I think the biggest insight out of that is maybe let's start with getting out of your own head a little bit.
Sure.
And would you classify yourself as someone who overthinks?
Buddy, look
And,
at this
and how
interview.
do you deal with that? Yeah, look at this interview.
Look at this interview. Like, you ask me one question, I'm like barely answering it, and then talking about something else because it
You
jumps
get
in
your
my
point
brain.
across.
Yeah, I guess. It takes a while. But yes, I overthink everything. I overthink all my jokes. I overthink this jacket. Like, it's all, you know what I mean?
What do I wear for a podcast?
Yeah, exactly. I message you, I'm like, what do you want me to wear, man? Fuck. You know, make me think less. So yeah, for sure. How do I overcome it?
How about let's go with, how does that translate into your joke writing? Like when you, like what's your creative process? Because this is another thing I'm really curious about is like, as a visual medium for me or with music, like I have a very distinct creative process where I'm like not working, but keep trying. And and I know like if someone asks me what the iteration of creativity like looks like before I get to that end product, I could record my screen with whatever I'm doing and tell them where decisions were being made to refine, right?
Wow.
With comedy, because I listen to Rogan, and whenever I listen to a Rogan interview and he's describing when he writes late at night when the kids are asleep or whatever he does to get in the mindset and like how the jokes come through, I'm enamored. Because I could never do that. Like I don't understand how you write to then bring that material on stage, develop it, and then get an outcome. And I feel like that's what you're trying to figure out is like, from what you've said, is like, what's the creative process to take, you know, like the Easter couple, you could turn that into a stand-up routine,
for sure.
right?
I could do that way easier.
The creative process, though, is very different to get the two, right? So like, what's your process? And then let's
for stand-up, or for videos.
I mean, if it's two different things, let's start with.
Well, here's the thing. I don't have one for videos yet, which is my problem because I'm always just like, I'll think of a funny idea and go, okay, great, let's do that. And then it comes down to, oh, well, fuck, how are we going to shoot this? And how am I actually going to get it across by what you're seeing? Which is different because usually when I work with people, a lot of it, like, you know, Austin's got a film background, right? Nima's got a film team. Fucking, you know, I'm always working with someone who's looking for the shots and what the shots are getting across. And I'm very rarely the one who's involved in that. I'm, you know, it's all dialogue driven, character based, this and that. So I don't have a process on how that happens. I'm just always winging it, and I'll watch it back and like, this is, okay, I'm now not getting it. You know, the idea, it's not getting across. But for stand-up, it's sort of just, it comes in waves, like the initial idea, or something will happen like, I'll take that dinosaur bit that I'm working on as an example. It was just a real argument that happened. Okay. So I had an argument with my wife. She was very passionate that dinosaurs don't exist. I don't know if you know this, but this is real.
I had an ex-girlfriend who also thought this, so I've been through this conversation.
Oh my God. So we were watching, and like, I'm not gonna do the bit, but I just basically walk everyone through the bit and like the whole argument, and it's like the best bit I've ever written.
Okay.
But it wrote itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, so we're watching Life on Planet Earth, the David Attenborough thing, and he's bitching about fossils off the top, and she just paused it and was like, this is stupid. I'm like, what's stupid? She's like, dinosaurs like don't exist. And I'm like, you know, and then we just, laptop closed. We argued for, I don't know, 3 hours, like just constantly going back and forth, pulling up evidence, this and that. And like, we have this whole argument about dinosaurs. And I was like, okay, just shut up. I literally went to the other room and just transcribed the whole argument, then obviously punched it up or whatever, and then set it on stage, and it just crushed out the gate.
That's hilarious.
But that doesn't always happen, you know? Whereas sometimes, like, you know, I have another joke I'm working on about body positivity, and I hate it and think it's dumb. Not to get too controversial, but
go for it.
You know, but like, I, as a fat person, it drives me nuts that there's other fat people out there being like, it's beautiful. You're like, we're gonna be dead by 50. Like, stop, you know what I mean? I'm like, I have 5 specialists telling me I'm dead by 65, guaranteed. Nothing positive about that. So we have to find a different, so like that gets people very uncomfortable, body positivity off the top. So I need to somehow work it in and massage it into people's minds, get them on my side. So there's a lot more tactic that has to go into the bit. So like that takes a lot more, okay, what is the point of what you're trying to say in this bit? All right, body positivity is stupid because it's harder to lose weight as a fat guy. when fat people are saying this. That's the point of the joke. Okay, great. How can I make you laugh about that and go through it, right? So, for example, I have a line in there that works where I'm like, that's like alcoholics coming up to you and being like, last call is a social construct, like stupid shit like that, right? And you're like, this is, so I try to build it, and it's just constant writing and rewriting. You have that idea, you write it out, you go on stage, you do the parts that you think are gonna be funny, and you see them just look at you being like, you piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, fat girls come to my show and are like, you are the worst. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and so like, then you're like, okay, now I have to rewrite this and build in qualifiers and be like, okay, understand that I get that, you know, the media has construed body types and it's unachievable for men and women. Yeah, okay, I get that. But Lizzo's out there saying that her blood is clean, and that's bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, that's just not true. So, you know, she rides a Peloton, she's 380 pounds, and the weight limit of a Peloton is 300 pounds. I don't get it. It makes no fucking sense, you know? So anyways, people get mad. So the process is different per joke, I find, per idea, because sometimes it doesn't land right out the gate, and sometimes it does. And it's just writing and rewriting. And that's my biggest problem in stand-up progress is sometimes, you know, the social media takes over and you don't have enough time to rewrite the joke with the parts that suck and this and that. Sometimes you play with the order and you just have to do it on stage. You can't, there's no shortcuts in stand-up of like, oh, I know this is gonna work. Like, I know people that are like, oh, I'm gonna get into stand-up. I wrote 5 minutes. I know it's gonna work. I'm like, dude, you have no idea. Like, because the way you're delivering it with no one around is not going to be the same as when you deliver it with hot lights in a room full of 200 people you don't know. You know what I mean? So that's sort of, the process changes all the time. But I do agree with Joe Rogan where a lot of the times, and I don't know if that's my brain being conditioned over 10 years, 12 years of doing stand-up, that like the ideas just come at night. Like as soon as I lay down in bed and like the lights are off and I close my eyes, I'm like, I'm going to bed. It's just like, idea dump, and you just whip the phone out, and then I'm writing till like 2 a.m. Some of them are stupid ideas that never get brought to life, but you know, for some reason, I guess it's because I'm performing at night so often that like between 7 and midnight is just
that's wild.
The best. Yeah,
it's wild you say that. So just latching on that idea for a sec, because this is something I noticed. Like did I tell you I started to get back into music a little bit?
No.
Yeah, like wild. As far as I'm concerned, because I basically quit like 6 years ago and never touched a piano again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I had like for some reason I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go like try producing EDM music one more time, like
sick.
just to try. Yeah. And you know me, I wake up at like 5 a.m. I'm in the gym. I'm like doing whatever.
Yeah.
I'm in bed between like 9:30, 10 usually, right?
Yeah.
And then like unless I like need to work late or whatever.
Right.
But
right.
The thing is if I need to work late, I'm working on things that aren't creative. Like I'm working on things that are like very routine. Like I'm not editing photos late. Usually I would edit photos early because that was when I found. With music though, I'm the only time I can carve out of my day is after 7 to like dabble.
Right.
You know, because it's not something that I'm necessarily like really diving into yet, but like a couple hours here and there. I'm way more creative
at night.
And I almost feel like this is the thing. Like I'm shocked, to be honest. Like I can't make music in the morning.
It might be a like that. This is just coming to me now.
Thing,
I know. Like I think it's a performance thing because all performing is at night. So maybe there's some sort of like genetically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's dumb maybe, but
I'm like I gotta revise. Like to be honest, I'm a legitimate consideration. I'm like I'm gonna start going to bed later. I'm like I don't even know why. Like it's wild to me.
It's also a dopamine kick I find too. Like sometimes like when I come off stage, I'm fucking like, you know, you're wired for a long time. So like my whole drive home from a show is just ideas central, right? And like you're kind of revved up mentally. And I find in the morning, it's hardest for me to do that. Like, you know, obviously exercising in the morning is great because then you get that, you know, your brain starts going. But when I do that, my brain starts not going on creative stuff. It's almost like I know that it's not time to be creative. Like for me, it's like 9 to 12 is just emails, computer work, whatever, just tidying up shit, loose ends. And then I just start pacing around and like, that's like the main thing for my creative process is just pacing in a room, like in a circle or back and forth. then I hop on phone calls after like the first hour and just run it to people that aren't in comedy, because comedians are going to give you their take, which is like their style and their, if you talk to a dark comic, like, what you're going to get, you know what I mean? So like sometimes I'll ask comics that fit into what the joke is about. So I'm like, okay, this joke's about, let's say fucking, I don't know, serial killers. I'm going to call my dark comic friend and be like, hey man, listen to this one. And he's like, oh, you got to go like this. I'm like, you're fucked. You know what I mean? So I like to call people that aren't comedians, because like they're a regular person, right? They're an audience member. So yeah, but pacing helps.
So there's actually one thing I wanted to ask you is like, especially with you saying the way that you ideate is like, you mentioned that sometimes you put a feeler out there. Mm-hmm. How does that, like, what stage of your process do the feelers start going out? Like, is it like joke written, sent, like, let me see if someone laughs at this? And then the second part is how do you take the feedback? And do you take feedback personally? Do you see it as a slag on like, oh, I'm a bad comic with whatever. Like I shouldn't have gotten any feedback. My joke should have killed. Like how do you really, especially if it's somebody that you think is better than you giving you feedback?
Right. That's tough, because sometimes the feedback from comics at shows, I 90% of the time don't ever listen to what they're saying, because I'm just like, there's too many variables at a show that can make your bit go south, you know what I mean? Or crush or whatever. And a lot of comics, you're just like, I fucking hate you. Don't talk to me. Do you know what I mean? There's just so many politics in stand-up where like, you feel they're just telling you this to get in your head and make you not do that bit anymore because they have a joke similar, or like there's just too many layers. So like, unless they're like a friend who's a comic, I usually don't really pay attention to it. But there was something else you mentioned that I wanted to talk about.
The feelers?
The feelers, yeah. So like, stand-up is a very personal thing. So like, you always kind of take it personally, because you're like, well, especially for me, because a lot of my jokes are based in a real story or a real thing that happened that I, add some salt and pepper to and embellish here and there. So like when they're like, 90% of the time my friends are like, dude, why are you running bits on me? When I'm just telling them a story, and right away I'm like, oh, perfect, this should be a bit, because they already think it's a bit, so great. But when I'm throwing the feeler out there and they don't laugh, I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Like, I'm like, how are you not laughing at this? Like, this is very funny. And they're like, I don't know, man, like you're losing me somewhere. And like 90% of the time on phone calls, if I start going into a fucking 5-minute monologue, you start to tune out. You know what I mean? Because you're on your phone, whatever. So like, I try to do it in person, or at least, being like, give me just 2 minutes and focus on what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you have a group you usually go to?
I'll just go to like my...
Or do you try to mix it up a little bit?
I try and mix it up, and like I'll just text like 15 different people being like, hey, you want to hear a bit I'm working on? And they're like, great. And sometimes, I have a lot of friends that laugh really easy at stupid shit, and you're like, you're the wrong
You don't
person.
count. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, of course you're going to laugh at this. You know what I mean? I'm talking about my dad being an idiot or whatever, So, but yeah, you can't take it too personally, because, for example, I had this joke about how my dad was a professional checker player growing up. My buddy was like, dude, I just don't fucking care. And I'm like, great. But that's because of where, like, you're on a phone call. You're like, why would I care about your dad being a checker player, right? I'm like, if you're at a comedy club and you're paying to listen to me make you laugh, you're going to try to find the funny in this, because you don't want to not laugh at a show that you're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's so many mental factors there. So I try my best to not laugh at it. And I have a huge issue with my own bits where I'm like, I know this is fucking funny. I'm just either A, not good enough yet to make it work, or people don't get it. You know what I mean? So there's bits, dude, that to this day do not work. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking make this work. Like, I have a joke about placentas. Again, that right there should tell you why it's not funny. But it was about like, how the zoo keeps placentas and like sells them to like, I don't know if you knew this or not, but like they sell it to like, L'Oreal to make products.
I can't say I knew this.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
When did you find this out?
At the zoo.
Okay.
I was at the zoo. I'm like, oh my God, there's like bins of placenta. It's fucking crazy.
Okay.
And like, a lot of animals use it as a shield to not get attacked, all this kind of stuff. So like placenta is like a huge thing. Dude, I'll send you clips of me saying this on stage. It's silence for like 5 minutes and people just being like, buddy, shut the fuck up about placenta. So, anyways, I think it's fucking hilarious, the joke, but no one laughs.
Honestly, I think. So I listened to the. Did you listen to the David Cho Rogan interview recently?
No.
Yeah, he talks about this.
Oh.
Weirdly, yeah, or ironically. Yeah, I think it's the topic, man. But you know what? Yeah,
That's what I mean, right? You don't
I just was
know.
like, oh, like I don't wanna,
That's what I mean.
yeah.
No one wants to hear the word placenta
Yeah.
over and over again. So I rewrote it and was like, okay, I'm gonna call it baby shield. For, you know what I mean? Like I come up with a different name,
yeah.
right? Never. It's not even worked at all. Like marginally worked.
That's so interesting. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Because I always was like, whenever I saw you live or like I went like go to comedy shows, like I'm always, I think because I know you and I have maybe like a different understanding of like cadence and like how things need to come out. It's like when I see a live comic and the bit's not working, I'm like paying it where I'm like, I know this has pull, right? And so I'm still engaged, but the audience is like lost. They're just, you know what I mean? Like they're just like, I can't follow this. Like you're not delivering this right. But I'm like, no, this is funny. Like just to hear him out. Like you know what I mean? Like,
And dude, cadence is such a good point with comedy. Like I was actually telling, there was a comic last night at the show who's like, one of his first sets was last night, and he was like, any advice? And I was like, just know when to burn the bit, because there's a lot of times where like you can do jokes for 25 years and always make the joke better, because you elevate as a performer and all this kind of stuff. Because cadence is a big thing where like you're gonna write this joke and you're going out there on the first run of trialing your joke is words. Are these words funny in this order? Then it's like, okay, now I'm gonna play with tones, inflections, and okay, then I gotta do physicality in this bit. Is there anywhere where I can be physical that's could also get a laugh? Like there's so many layers to that before you even get, you know what I mean, to this joke being in a good place. You can always work on it and make it good. So you have to know like, okay, now I'm 10 years in, time to retire these bits, because I wrote that as a novice writer and a novice performer. So now if I go to try and perform a joke from 10 years ago, I almost have to regress back to the old performance or it doesn't work the same. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
Because I was less confident, less energetic, less this and that, and didn't know my onstage voice as well. So it's like all these fucking layers where you're like, okay, sure, that joke's great and funny, but you either need to completely rewrite it as to who you are now or squash it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it's very, I don't know, it's such a, you know, what's the word for that? Weird fucking thing. There you go. What's the word? It's fucking stupid thing.
So what, I feel like this is maybe like a taboo question, but I guess like what I'm trying to figure out is like how quickly do you realize when something's not working? And what I want to like preface this with is like, what was your first experience of something not working? And what did you do to like, did you just go home angry after finishing the set, or like?
Well, this happens to me to this day. Like, and what pisses me off is because all you do is try to figure out why it didn't work, and like that will keep you up for hours. The first time it happened was my second time on stage. First time on stage was like, I felt like Chris Rock. Like I fucking crushed all throughout. I was like, this is it. Second time on stage, it was just silence from start to finish until I got off. And I was like, and the amount of people there that I knew personally that came to that show, that all of them were like, this is why it didn't work. And they all said something different. I was like, I fucking hate this. This is the worst feeling on earth, because no one really knows why. And there's like I can't remember what comic said this, but they were like, the energy of the room, you take one person out of the audience and put one new person in, can change the whole vibe of the whole room. So like it could fucking be anything that really sets people off on your bit. So like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. You know, you shouldn't overthink it and try and figure out why from the audience perspective. You're writing all day long, but I forgot your question, so I'm trying to find a way to loop it back.
I think you got it, to be honest. I think it's really just like, how do you deal with failure?
Right. Yeah. You just have to do it again. Like for me, I got to the point where I was like, okay, this is a journey that I'm going to be doing forever. Me and my dad fight about this once a week. He's always like, what's your retirement plan? I'm like, I don't have a retirement plan. If I can be Don Rickles and tour when I'm 85, I'm going to fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just always going to be doing this. So I'm submitting myself to the journey of it. and I'm along for the ride. So yeah, I'm gonna tank and I'm gonna crush. It's all part of the thing, you know? So you see Chris Rock talking about it all the time. He's like, man, I'm fucking 35 years into this. I have 15 comedy specials, and last night I got crickets the entire time, and people know I'm Chris Rock. Like, I can't even imagine being a celebrity comic and eating dicks, because people have way higher of an expectation of you. And then, like, you know, he's post-divorce. He doesn't even see his kids no more. Like, he's in a totally different place and can't make it funny. You're like, this is brutal, you know? Yeah. Can't imagine. So, but again, it's all part of the journey, if you will.
That's fair. I think that's also true for like a lot of creative professions, is like, and when you have to explain it to somebody from a traditional sort of like blue chip background, and but
blue
it's like
chip background. That is hilarious.
it's facts. Yeah. So like, at the end of the day, right? It's like you're gonna.
Our dads are both part of the blue chip.
Our dads are part of the blue chip. But it's funny. It's just funny to me because it's like the art of it, and when you talk to the creator in whatever, even baking, right? Like bakers have it the worst because they get that like flour.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like at some point they have to stop because they've just breathed in too much flour.
Right.
And they can't bake anymore. They're gonna die. Or however crazy it gets.
That's fucked up.
But but like the reality is like you don't want to stop. You don't want to stop making photos. You don't want to stop making movies. You don't like what are you gonna do? Be 85 years old and think, oh, guess I can't do what I did my whole life now? Like that doesn't make
no.
And I think that's the difference with like passion in your work. I'm not saying that whoever works at a blue chip's like not passionate about what they do, but the requirements of the work that happens within that company necessitates infrastructure.
Right.
Versus when you're retired, you can pick up, like everybody's like, oh, I'm finally gonna play piano. Well,
why haven't you?
Why didn't you play piano your whole life, right? Like, but it's because it's that solo, accessible activity that fuels you, right? And that's the benefit of you is like you actually get to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you know,
and it just isn't.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. My grandfather says it all the time. He's always working. Now he's a trades guy forever. So like, but he's
another good example though.
Yeah,
right?
but he's 85, dude. Like outside, fucking, you know, with a shovel and a wheelbarrow still. And I'm like, you should not be doing this. He's like, the day I stop working is the day I die, and that's it, right? And I don't think he loves it at all. But now it's just keeping him going. You know what I'm saying? But with my dad, I'm like, can you look at all these greats, if you will, right? Steve Martin is still on tour. Who's that great director that's not James Cameron? The Italian guy. Scorsese. Scorsese's still pumping out fucking unreal films. Like, is he retiring? He's never going to retire. Like, Jim Carrey is the only one that's like, I'm retiring because his mind is on a different playing field now. So, you know, I just never, it's like, what's the, I don't get it. And he's like, yeah, I guess. But, he's like, buddy, you're putting yourself in like the books of Steve Martin and Scorsese. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, who do you think you are? I'm like, that's the goal, idiot. Like, I'm just saying.
You have to though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, so that's the long-term goal. Wherever I land is wherever I land. But, you know, so.
I mean, that's the thing, like, too, you know, I don't remember who told me it, but it, like, it's, and obviously it's so cheesy, but it's that whole, like, aim high and you'll land somewhere up to wherever you set the bar.
That was at every fucking elementary school.
Yeah, on the wall, right?
On the wall.
It would shoot for the moon.
Shoot for the moon, land amongst the stars. There you go.
But I always hated reading it.
Yeah, you're like, look at this stupid.
Yeah, this is stupid. Because I'm just like, no, like it doesn't. But then I understood it's actually practical advice because if you think, like, it's that thing of like, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably both right.
Right.
It's so true,
it's
right?
True,
like, because then you just don't start.
Yep.
And then you don't start, and now you're 45, and it's like, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Like
Gary Vee would tell you, you're still young.
Well, there you go. Yeah, right.
You have so much time.
40 more years.
Yeah, fuck's sakes, man. I love that. My when I was doing drums back in the day, my drum teacher, dude, now he's dead. Fuck, rest in peace. He was like 100, and he was like always like, listen, you have to view whatever you're doing, because like we would keep in touch after drumming, and he would always relate music to comedy all the time, like so many parallels. And he would be like, it's all about the journey. And he's like, that's the whole thing. Because like, dude, he was telling me stories of like playing Queen Street back in the fucking 50s. And like, dude, I'd make $1,000 in a day going club to club. He's like, and I remember when the DJ came in and they started phasing us out. I'm like, that's like crazy. So like, when him telling you like, you're going to be doing this forever. He would consider genres in music as like different languages you have to learn in music, right? Okay. And he was like, you just learn different languages, different skills in your toolbox and go along the journey and just keep going. He's like, that's the whole thing. He's like, so you have to enjoy the journey at the same time because that's what this is. He's like, it is the journey. It's not a destination. And like you keep hearing, you're like, yeah, I heard this 10,000 times in fucking books growing up. You know, what are those stupid books? Those motivational books that they would use. Dr. Seuss, like all those weird cliche lines. And you're like, no, he's absolutely right that like the success part of it is going through the journey, is the highs and lows, and is like the fun of the whole roller coaster. It's not, oh my God, I sold out the Air Canada Center. It's over. You know what I mean? He's like, that's just another part of this whole thing, you know? So, yeah.
So how do you see it like stacking up for you then? Just like, is it like, because my take on you is like, you're very good at like this is obviously what we talked about, and like it kind of feeds back to like what you're saying of like the creative first.
Right.
I would say you're the best at having the most viral moments.
Right.
Of actually any creator that I've seen. In truth, no.
You guys want to get that on?
If
we could clip this out for my resume. I go to brands. I'm like, listen. He said. I didn't say it. He said it.
You literally have a video out right now that's still circulating.
It's crazy.
At 40 million views. Plus 42. Now 42. Literally, the last I looked, it was 38, like 7. So
it's crazy.
Wild. But you've had this, like, from the Raptors.
Oh yeah,
right. The Siakam thing, right?
With my nonna,
yeah. With Siakam, right? That was okay. Yeah.
It was my nonna, yeah.
That was like the launch pad to what I would say is like when you tap culture, it hits.
Right.
And that like has that like how have the viral moments like actually let's talk first story like how the viral moments really impacted like your stacking up of the journey to get you where you're at, and what's been like the biggest maybe challenge in maintaining the virality? Has it contributed at all, or has it just been moments?
No, for sure. Well, I mean, you know, it always reinforces, oh yeah, you got to do more of this. But what pisses me off is now that I'm like realizing this is those 3 moments, because I'd say the Siakam, the Doug Ford, and then this pregnancy video, if you will. There's a few shittier ones, but like...
Yeah, there's levels.
Yeah, those main 3 were all such on a whim that like, if I didn't just say, let's do this right now, then like, it would have just never happened. Like that Siakam video was like, I made a joke to my grandmother being like, man, it would be hilarious. I'm like, can you do it like, you know, on anybody? I'm like, it'd be hilarious if like you did it. And she was doing it as I got out of the bathroom already on an iPad. I was like, this is fucked. And just started filming it and put it out. Like there was no thought to any of it. There was no, same with the pregnancy video. Like we were in Washington and she was like, just hold my stomach free for like 2 minutes. And I'm like just holding it and I'm like, oh my God, this would be hilarious. I'm like, do me next, right? And I just set up the camera and just did exactly what just happened and it exploded. Same thing with Doug Ford. I'm like, man, I don't know why no one's doing these guys. And then I just started doing it and it exploded. I'm like, this is fuck. You put so much effort in all these other ones being like, what's the caption? What's the description? Okay, let's think of the title first. Okay, let's think of the idea first. Okay, what are the relationships that people talk about? Like when you try to think of it, it never hits, which pisses me off because it's like, how do you hit again, right? I've put out 5 more fucking pregnancy videos since. None of them have hit, even close. Now, none of them are as short and as funny, but you know, it's how do you make it happen again? But the good thing is that it's going to happen again because it's happened already. And you're like, okay, let's just
trial and error.
You got to just keep throwing shit at the wall. So, I mean, yeah. The retention rate though is just brutal. You know what I mean? Like, that's what, as I see it circulating, I'm like, okay, put out another one. So hopefully they see like, oh, there's another one. Here's another one, whatever. So
I think this is the thing too, though, is like, So a lot of things so a lot of times when a creator finds a topic or a format that works, so formats being like skits or vlogs or even like graphic carousels done in a specific way, like, and it catches, they lock onto those formats, and similar to with like topics, right? So now all of a sudden you're repeating pregnancy clips. Never did you think you were gonna do ever. Like, but it works, and now you're like, cool, like, done.
Yeah, and I noticed that one of the all three of those things.
The first one that you did next actually did pretty well, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
relative,
not a million, but yeah. I noticed that they all pushed me to the next. Like the Doug Ford thing pushed me over 10K followers. You know what I mean? And now this one is just sort of like, it's just a fucking snowball of everything that. But then I post stand-up clips, and I'm like, people need to know I do stand-up, so I throw in these clips that the quality's trash, and like, you might laugh, you might not, but I have to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like this necessary piece of content in my mind. I don't even know why I mentioned that, outside of that it just bothers me because I feel like I should do it, but the numbers aren't there. You know what I'm saying?
So then what's the balance between like you and your like personal comedian side, and then almost like your characters, or like the skits that you put on that are like external to you, you know?
It's so weird. I don't know. Because, dude, this guy came to my show last night and like bitched me out after the show, being like, I can't believe you didn't do any Nono Garden stuff. And I was like, I had a whole bit about my grandfather. It was like 7 minutes. He's like, yeah, but it wasn't like the garden thing. Put on the hat, where's the jacket? And I'm like, you idiot. Like, you know what I mean? People are coming to see me do exactly what the video is. And I'm like, you're just an idiot.
That's crazy.
They're fusing the mediums. And like, that happens to Nemo a lot, where like, he can go on stage and be like, what characters do you guys like for my thing? They'll shout it out, and he'll just improvise with his character for like 10 minutes. So it's like, he can go on tour and not have an act if he wants. He doesn't do that, but like, he could totally do that if he wanted to, because people are just go, do that hockey guy. And he'll put his hat backwards and just start being like muck barn, this and that, right? You know, and you're like, people don't fucking care about stand-up. Do you know what I mean? Like, that are followers, you know, unless they're stand-up goers. It's its own separate thing. But I know too many people that have gotten like American visas or like signed to massive labels in the US because they post stand-up clips and they go, oh my God, you're massive on TikTok. I didn't know you did stand-up until you posted your clips just recently. Here's a fucking visa, come to all of our clubs in the US. You're like, I have to post the clips. You know what I mean? But yeah, they definitely don't perform well at all. I'm just like, for me, it's like you said, the balance is just keep trying to grow the fan base. You're still not going to get people to come and see you live, because there's people that hide behind their screens and their Instagram account is like a smoke show, 18-year-old girl, and they're like a fat guy in his 50s. It's like, there's some people that just aren't going to see you live. That's just what it is. They're two different mediums. You try to have the crossover.
Yeah, some of them.
And that's it. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
So have you ever gotten, like, how many requests do you get for the characters? Like, is that a thing?
All the time, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. In the middle of the show, like, if I like put a lot of energy into a bit and I like stop the joke after because I'm done, I'm like out of breath for a second, I'll just be like standing there and be like, man, fuck that, do yawn, bro. And I'm like, you know, I never do like that accent on stage ever, right? I don't have a place for it, and I don't want to make up a joke about going to Germany or something or whatever and throwing this in, right? So I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't have a joke for it. And then he's like, well, just come on, do the voice. And I'll just fuck around with the voice for like a couple minutes. And he'll be like, see, that's what you got to be doing up there. I'm like, you fucking asshole, bro. It's like, everyone else has no clue. Or, you know, a portion of the audience is like, who the fuck is Jan? What is he talking about? What is this? And I'm like, that was just for him, guys. Leave it alone. You know what I mean? Like, half those people are like, you have Instagram? Is that what this is about? Social media? I'm here to see stand-up. Can you do good jokes?
So the industry's still there then, like in it, like it's still, like, because that's my biggest, like.
Do people care about stand-up is what you're saying?
Yeah, because like it is on a downward trajectory.
Yeah, for sure.
But you still have those core people.
It's so bizarre because like it was for like a huge time, and then it was like, okay, every new platform is jumping on specials. Like now Amazon has a whole stand-up portion, and they're paying everybody under the sun to do a special. They pulled over a lot of guys from Netflix now. So like, and now they're starting to put out small specials for younger comics and like not as established guys to do 15-minute little like segments, and they'll put like all three of us on one special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's weird. There is a niche for it, but it's either you like stand-up or you don't. Like some people just don't like watching stand-up, and they're like, this is not. So it's very weird. I don't know, but
that's why I literally grew up like, literally like we would listen to like satellite radio, Jeff Foxworthy,
the best,
hilarious, like audio on car rides, like on repeat, and like I just found like I got like I would go to school and like redo jokes. Like,
dude,
do you know what I mean?
Foxworthy is the best, bro. That guy's so rich, it's fucked. Like, and it's weird because not a lot of people talk about him, but like he's been. I think he's got like 20 comedy albums. Like
Here's
it's
your
crazy.
Like,
yeah. So, but like that's actually why I came out with my album. Like it's circulating on SiriusXM as well, like on these channels.
Yeah. Just
for that reason, because I'm like Foxworthy is just the GOAT.
Well, he figured it out. Like he figured out new media. I think before a lot of the comics did.
Yeah.
Like he was one of the first.
I got into a car accident listening to him. I was laughing so hard.
Did you really?
No. Dude, oh my God, I was fucking crying, and like I couldn't see, my eyes were watering so hard. Boom. Rear-ended a guy in Halifax.
That's crazy.
That's terrible, but
that's wild.
Yeah, insurance.
The insurance. I always wondered about that when you're like you're in the car and you're like trying to change the song on Spotify, and you're like, oh
yeah,
like
brutal.
How's this allowed? You know. So my curiosity then is when you take your viral moments and you obviously have this pull, when you're, maybe this is something you haven't thought of too deeply yet, and that's okay. But the trending content versus the original content, like you almost invent your own trends. Like you're not out there using trending audio to like, you know what I mean? Like, so is there a barrier to kind of following along with like those bigger trends as a comedian, or?
For sure. Like there was a trend of like, so-and-so be like, for example, where it's like photographers be like, and then that's the caption and everyone's just like going around, whatever. Now a lot of that's still happening, but it's done a little bit more creatively, I guess. So there is truth to that stuff, but I don't follow anything. I just go, this is funny, great. I keep putting out certain characters because they do well or people like them a lot, so I just keep doing it. I don't do Jan at all because it doesn't do well, but I get more DMs than any, just being like, the fact that you don't do this is just pissing me off. Like, so then I'll throw one out every once in a while. But I have this internal debate all the time where it's like, should I be doing what works and doing new stuff, or should I just keep putting out the stuff that was working? This guy DM'd me the other day, he commented on a Doug Ford video that I did, being like, bro, these just don't hit like they used to, right? And I was like, he's right. I felt that putting it out. I'm like, no one really cares. Doug Ford posted, he was at Tim Hortons icing a cookie.
Yeah.
Every, like 50 comments on his video tagging me. So many people in my things, and I chose not to do it. I was like, no one cares about what Doug Ford's doing anymore. Do you know what I mean? Or at least my take on it. It's very repetitive. It's food. It's this, it's that. He has to do something really extreme for people to give a shit about him anymore, because it's not at that level of the pandemic. And like at that level of the pandemic, he was fighting so hard to get us to like him again. So he was doing outlandish shit and also keeping us inside. So it was like, he was trending like crazy always on a massive level. So like, I have this debate where I'm like, dude, should I even be putting him out? Because it's not hitting like it used to. No one fucking cares. No one reshares it. Whereas before, BlogTO, everyone would be sharing them all the time. Now no one does it at all. Is my quality of the videos gone down? It's the same as it was. So I don't know. And I sit there and go, what do I do? So
how do you find your ideas then?
I just do like, for example, my dad.
Like Doug Ford was on the fly.
Doug Ford was like, I had that idea of like, you know, if we were in the US right now during the pandemic, there would be 15 Donald Trump impressions online.
Right.
And I was like, there's no Justin Trudeau impression. There's no political leaders. Canada never does that. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right? We all want a Toronto SNL, but never do it. So, you know, that's why me and Austin started doing that. I was like, we have to do political leaders. And now you're seeing all sorts of people do, you know, Pierre Poilievre and whatever, right? So, I mean, yeah, it's a hard thing to manage because I just keep going, oh, I should do what's funny to me and put it out. Yeah, so that's all I do. I don't know. The characters, though, are just so easy. Like, I filmed like 15 Nono videos the other day, like in like 2 hours. I'm like, this is just, you know, also because I'm surrounded by old people at all times. So it's very easy to get the real stuff. So I don't know.
When did you figure out how to do the accents? Because I think like especially with the Nono video, like you were like 7.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like the accents have always been, and it sucks because like last night I did a joke and I did an Indian accent. They just bailed on me right away. They were like, don't be doing that. And I was like, but I grew up doing that. Like I actually, like my friends who are Indian asked me to pretend to be their uncles calling from India and talking to their parents and like prank call their parents all the time. Now, does that make it less racist? No, but you know what I mean? I still like, I love doing them. I haven't found a way to do the ones that aren't white in this new woke culture. So yeah.
It's a struggle. Is there anything then that you do to help you with your ideation? Like travel is obviously like a component of what you do. Like you had that Portuguese character come out.
Right.
And that was as a result of the trip.
Right.
Like, Like how, like what spurs? See,
again, that was so specific because I was having a coffee and watched a tour guide come. And you know how you get those street guides sometimes? Like Airbnb has those like, what are they called? Like adventure packages or whatever experiences. And it's like hire a local dude to just take you around. And you could tell, dude, that this guy had no fucking idea what he was talking about because he was referencing things that like clearly were not something you want to see in Sevilla. You know what I mean? Like we're in Sevilla, there's like a fucking castle behind us. And he's like, this cafe just opened up. And I'm like, what are you saying? Like, and I just was listening to this guy tell these people things that I would be so mad if I heard. I'm like, I would love to know how much he costed. Like, this is a $10 travel guide, whatever. And then I was just like, okay. And I started pretending to be him with Bianca the whole day. And we were just killing ourselves. I'm like, let me just record this and just put it out. And that was it. So like, I don't know. They just come and I put it out and that's how it goes.
So would you say then that like serendipity and putting yourself in experiences is probably the most valuable thing that like someone can do?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I'd say that. I mean, for me personally, like I was saying before with the stand-up stuff, a lot of it's stories that have happened or something that happened.
Right.
For example, my dad comes up to me, we're talking about sports, and he cannot talk about sports without bringing up the oldest fucking athlete you've ever heard of in your life. You know what I mean? Like, he'll always be like, you talk about, for example, use LeBron. He'll be like, buddy, like me and you were talking about LeBron versus Kobe, and he comes in, he's like, buddy, neither of those guys are Wilt Chamberlain. You're like, shut up, bro. Like, and it's just, he goes on this rant about like, well, you know what really happened with Donovan Bailey, right? So there was the doping in '98, and you're like, Dad, shut the fuck up, you know? And like, they just try to reminisce on sports that they watched growing up in the peak as if they know like what really happened, you know?
Yeah.
Like, buddy, Joe Montana, you know what really happened? You're like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? And I feel like all dads do that with sports. They try to feel relevant and fit in, and you're like, what an idiot. So anyways, I started doing that on stage just because I thought it was funny. And now I throw him bones on purpose. I'm like, man, Larry Bird's way better than Steph Curry, eh, Dad? He's like, Larry Bird, you know you got to watch. And I'm like, here we go. You know, it's just, let's get Dad going on sports for 20 minutes. So I bought an Ibrahimovic jersey.
Okay.
AC Milan, Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
Because it was like, this is his last year. And I was like, he kind of did this resurgence of Milan, right, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
My dad, as soon as I bought it, he's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, why would you buy him? I'm like, he's the resurgence of Milan. Like, are you kidding me? Like, he's the GOAT right now. He's 40.
Yeah.
Still scoring goals. And he was just like, he's no Maldini. I'm like,
oh
fuck. Yeah, of course. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, why don't you get Maldini? I'm like, because Maldini's not playing anymore. Yeah. It's a new jersey. Like, what the fuck? You're like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. We got into this argument about Maldini versus Ibrahimovic, dude, probably for 2 hours. And like, he started calling other people. Like, it was just, I don't know. Dads get hung up on this shit. So I started thinking about all these things that dads do that make no sense just so they can feel relevant. Film like 3 or 4 of them. You'll see them come out. Let's see how they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, test from there.
So yeah, I like putting yourself in situations in general, whether it's going on a trip or just interacting with people you don't know or whatever, even just hanging out with your own family. Like there is funny everywhere. You just have to find it, and it is there. Do you know what I mean? So you can make
like
every
that.
situation funny. You just have to fucking. That's why people hate me. I'm the guy at funerals laughing my ass off because I'm looking for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people are just like, "Why you do that? It's a sad time." I'm like, it doesn't have to be at all. And like, you know, I did my nonna's eulogy. I have family right now that refuses to talk to me. Since then, this was like 3-4 years ago, and I crushed. I shouldn't say that, but like I did the eulogy. Like the priest was fucking like everyone was laughing because I was like I didn't do the whole like, you know, Maria was born in Cassino, Italy. She came here on a bus. Like fuck, no one fucking cares. You know her story. I'm gonna try it, and I just impersonated her the entire time. No one liked that at all. But like, well, some family was like, "You're just being disrespectful," and I'm like, everyone after was like, "Man, I just felt like, you know, you were really bringing her to life and saying what she used to say to me, and like." You know, so I tried to like relive the character and say what kind of person she was, character-wise. No one liked it. And I was like, you know what? You just can't win. But it is everywhere, you know? Circling back to, fucking, I'm a rambler. I'm going to watch this back and be
these
like,
answers
Jesus,
are
fucking.
amazing as far as I'm concerned. Like, this is the thing, like, why this is so interesting for me is because it's like, it doesn't matter what your like specialty is, the principles translate across all of it. Like,
Right.
And it's just showing up in different ways. So yeah, I mean, it translates across, right? So I guess like as like almost our parting thoughts is like, how's your flow then now versus before? Like with idea, like, do you think you're in a really good spot creatively? And like, have you kind of gotten into enough of a rhythm where you know like how much comedy you can actually make? Like, is that a thing?
Yeah. I mean, there is that, like we were saying before, the unpredictability of creating ideas because they come in waves. Sometimes I don't think of an idea for weeks. But then I feel like I've gotten good at just being creative all the time because of brand deals and wanting to put out more content or collab with certain people and thinking in their lane, like, or whatever. That on top of writing scripts or writing for a TV show, these types of things, the mental elasticity in the creative side of my brain is constantly going. And it actually makes me sick that there's like a lot of friends that I know that work for agencies and are like getting paid $300 grand a year to like think funny for like half a minute, and they can't, and they write these fucking fake scripts, and then they call me and go, give me some ideas, and I'm like, fuck you, you make so much money. Whereas like comedians, we're thinking funny all the time, we're always trying to find it, this type of thing. So I feel like I've gotten pretty good at churning it out or coming up with ideas on the fly. Whether now all bad ideas, whereas before were fucking brutal. Whereas, you know, now bad ideas are passable. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially from the content side. Stand-up side is like, you have to make the time to rewrite it and try it. And like, there's just no way around that. So like, yes, there is the balance of, you know, still doing stand-up so that your knife never gets too fucking dull, you know, so that you can keep doing the content. You know what I mean? Like, that's the current challenge I'm in, is how much content I can put out. I'm putting out as much as I can-ish at the moment, but now I'm going on stages and you can see, or I can, the audience doesn't know the fucking difference, but I can see that like, okay, I haven't put in the rewriting work into this. I haven't put in the time here. So the knife's starting to go, you know, my stand-up's taking a hit because I'm putting so much effort on the content side. So, but yeah, I don't know. That's the struggle.
It is a struggle, but it's the same too. Like because I play in both worlds, right? With like the content creation part for Brock Wonder, or like the street photography, idea, like what, right? And then it's like on the other side of it, I'm managing 8 social media presences, 9, and I gotta come up with post ideas for all of them, right? And when it's like you tilt in one world, and it's like, cool, I'm now in client mode, and I gotta like do calendar post. Or I'm like, now I'm like fully immersed in like what is street photography culture today? Like, you know,
Right.
like what does the old person crossing the street in New York look like? You know what I mean? Like, what's that popular, like idealistic photo? Okay, pull apart what makes sense, translate that. Like, it's a whole different like world, and like you're like free to ideate within that.
Yeah.
And you can't get in that headspace if you're not fully bought in. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think like that's, it's funny to say for me, but like lately I've been seeing social media as more and more of a distraction for a lot of people.
Of course, yeah.
Because it's not contributing to the thing that actually is what they wanted to do in the first place. Like, it's very ancillary.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and they think it's contributing because they're getting that awareness. Not saying that's you.
No. I want to touch on that. I've felt that there's too many people consuming social and not adding to social, that it's becoming this, like, you'll notice you'll see the same videos a lot on the platform, like the exact same video, just on 80 different fucking pages. And I almost feel like there's a shortage of content, even though everyone on earth is only going content, right? Like, they can't not do content. But it's like, okay, well, I'm on Instagram for an hour, let's say, well, in bed scrolling at night. I've seen the same video 20 fucking times. People send me videos all the time, and I'm like, dude, I saw that in January. You know what I mean? Same thing on TikTok, where you're like, there's such a shortage that these social media apps get stale quickly, and then I question, when is the best time to post, or should I be posting? Like, you see it with, like, for example, with Easter, you're like, okay, now throughout Easter, no one's posting anything, so you're seeing like refed shit, and the stuff that's being posted right now isn't working. I'm like, what is going, you know what I mean? So like, there's too many variables now with like this, the algorithm stuff. You know this way better than I do. And this is just my feeling, because almost you go like, okay, it's long weekend. No one cares about what you're fucking posting. Even though everyone is at home just fucking wildly scrolling, they're not actually taking it in, and it's not actually performing well, because everyone's almost just like taking a break. So, you know, you having your phone at lunch when you're actually watching it is not the same as, you know, holiday Monday where you're fucking the dog in your pajamas all day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So that drives me crazy. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you're saying. I actually noticed this as like, this is like a bit of this is a theory more than anything. But when we were in the pandemic, like, I think there's a few things going on right now. People are actually, I think I question the data on phone usage. I think people are actually using their phones less, in the way that you're consuming the videos now when you're in line at Starbucks, versus I'm at home for 8 hours because the pandemic told me to be. And you know what I mean? So the consumption's different, and your content has to be so good to get that like, to get the share, to engage someone, because they're actually engaged in something else and they're consuming you passively. Do you know what I mean? So it's, and I almost feel like that's where you were going with earlier, is like the relatability piece is more important than is it funny?
Right.
Because you're in the app looking to share it with somebody. And like I told you, I want the corgi, right? Like,
yeah.
When I see a corgi video, I'm sending that corgi video now to like 90% of the people I told I want a corgi.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be a good corgi video. Like, it's just a corgi.
Yeah.
Like, hilarious example, but like, it's kind of the same idea of like, somebody, like, for instance, like with the tips and tricks videos that I do, this is a very interesting niche in that you're not interested in watching these videos unless you specifically need that information to help you in an instance.
Right.
Versus the photography page is very entertainment based.
Right.
And that can serve at any point in your day when you're looking for entertainment. Right. But the ability to hook someone has gotten so much harder because life has changed so much over the last 3 years, that to build a closer relationship, build a brand that can break through the noise of everybody copying each other, right? And then to continue to innovate on your own creative bar. Like, there's so many things that you need to worry about now, right? And I think, like, if there's anything to kind of to wrap up this chat on like the creative ideation and obviously, because I think we've been going for a while, is what do you think the best way forward is for maybe an aspiring comic or someone looking to like get their feet wet. Not even like I want a career, a comedy career to stand the test of time. Like obviously, like I don't think anybody can answer that for any creative profession. But if you had like somebody that comes to you and is like, I want to get into this, do I go to improv class or do I start making skits on Instagram? Like what's the...
You got to do both.
Yeah.
Got to do all of it.
That's it.
You have to. Like it's stupid to not, and every comic is going to get phased out because you're just seeing the numbers. In the US, all they care about is butts and seats. If you can't put people in seats, you're going to get bumped from the TikToker who can. Whether his stand-up is funnier than yours or not is irrelevant. So, you know, if you want to be a stand-up, you have to do stand-up and you have to perform. The audience will tell you if your jokes are funny, and that's that. Don't think that your writing is, because it's not up to you. Same thing with content. It's not up to you if it's going to go viral. So don't worry about it so much, just put it out. Then that's literally a Gary Vee regurgitation. But, you know, in the end of the day...
He's right about some things.
He's right about something. He is right about that. So, like, that makes sense. He's wrong about the Jets, but he's right about that. Like, where you don't know if a video is going to explode. So, and if you want to be a comic, why not use all the tools you can to showcase how funny you are in every way? Because in the end of the day, skits might get you a TV show. Skits might get you an acting agent, you know? Stand-up might get you being the host of Family Feud. Not that you want that, but whatever, you know what I mean? So like, that's what skits have done. Skits have putting me in doors that I never thought I'd be in. It got me an acting agent, all this stuff. So you're like, you don't know what these can do for you because everyone's consuming it, and your phone is going to reach way more people than anybody else. So it doesn't matter if you like it or not. You have to figure it out. So I have that conversation every day with a stand-up, and it drives me nuts because they go, no, man, fuck that shit. You're like, okay, bro, you're just not going to get booked because the guy who's less funnier than you on stage can put people in seats, and he is. So you're out, pal, you know? So, but going back to the thing, one last topic was the part about that I wish I could talk to anybody about, like who works for TikTok or Instagram. We spoke about this once. Me and all these comics always debate this. Why is it that someone with 6 million followers on Instagram and TikTok doesn't have the personal connection that, let's say, Nima does, for example? Like Nima, people come to the shows. Some people have triple his following, but don't go to their shows. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, you have to focus on building the relationship with the audience members more than, like, that's the important part of the content rather than, you know, just putting out stuff that is getting big views. Because you can get millions and millions of views, but are people going to come see you live? Because I know too many people that no one goes to see them live because they're like, why would I, like, I don't even, you know, people feel like they fucking know Nima personally. And then they're like, when they meet him, they're like, oh my God, I feel like I've known you forever. That's why I came. Do you know what I mean? So that's always blown me away, is how you do that with the content. Now, he's done a lot of other things like his community page and, like, you know, actually interacting with every single person with engagement comments and texting and calls and video. Like, he'll go on live for 10 hours and just bring people on all day long, right? So, you know, there's a lot of that he does, but like with the content itself, it hits people personally somehow. And I don't know how he does it. And I know he's not doing it on purpose, but it's happening. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Can you answer that for me?
I can answer that.
Yes.
I mean,
clip this out.
I think the thing that separates, so this is actually what you've just described is really what interested me in doing this in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Because in university, in third year university, I really got into health and fitness. Like, that was when I was like, I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to dial in. So I was like, I need to learn how to do that. So I'm going to go onto YouTube. I'm going to find fitness videos that can help me get a bigger bench press, like the bro things, right? And you end up falling into fitness, the early days of fitness influencers, vlogging, lifestyle, before it even became real. Like, Gymshark didn't exist yet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
This is like
Gymshark.
Because Gymshark was like 2014, 15. This is like 2017. So like, it's just starting now. Right. And I'm following some of the biggest fitness influencers on the planet when they were at like 20, 30,000 followers. And I'm now on that journey with them, when I graduate university.
Right.
And I'm hooked. I'm like,
Like
what's
Hermosi and Goggins and fucking.
no, like Christian Guzman, Max Tuning,
Oh, okay.
Steve Cook,
Right.
like the fitness, like
Right,
not even the performance mindset people. Like this
Oh,
is
okay.
like
Just straight fitness.
straight fitness, like content. Like I'm like Christian Guzman is the owner of Alpha Elite. Like they're a massive fitness apparel company out of Houston, right? Like Ben Francis is the owner of Gymshark. Like they all had these like vlogs, and they would vlog their day to day, right? You get invested in their relationships. You're curious about their friends. You're wondering, because Christian Guzman would do this, the summer shredding series, and he would take you along the way of like, I'm weighing 220 pounds. I'm going to get on stage at 166. And it's a 3-month journey. And here's exactly what I'm doing. And these were 30-minute videos. And I would watch all of it. Like,
wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and because I'm invested in, but it's the amount of authenticity, relatability, sharing, and I also think there's a communication style that breaks through. Like if I had 3 things that really comes down to what makes someone successful by building a connection with their audience ahead of someone who's able to get high level brand awareness, it's communication style through camera, I think is key. 2 is how much of a window into your life are you willing to provide? And that is the most controversial topic of any content creator, because in theory, you shouldn't need to tell somebody what you're eating for breakfast in order to build your business.
Right.
It doesn't make sense, but it does make sense in context of like...
They feel they know you, this and that.
Yeah,
it's very
exactly.
personal.
And then the third one's the journey. And I call this one like the buy-in. And it's like, you need your audience to know what you're trying to achieve in order for them to be willing to invest. Right. And the struggle with short form video right now is that we have a bunch of pages that are repositories of information that are quick hacks, level up tips, mindset, whatever. It could be anybody saying it. And the reality is if the information came from David Goggins and then Joe Schmo says the exact same thing, David Goggins is going to get more views because David Goggins has credibility and the other person nobody knows exists, but the information is still valid. Right. The difference is David Goggins over the last 5 years has taken the audience on this path, right? Right. And you understand the SEAL training, like, you know what I mean? Like, and the investment into that is why David Goggins can fill an auditorium for, and Joe Schmo giving the exact same advice is selling ebooks for $40. Got it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit of like a high level woo-woo answer, but you know,
I know what you're saying. You could
get, like, if you said, my goal in 5 years is to fill the Scotiabank Arena sold out. I want to be the funniest comic in Toronto. And for 5 years, you vlog that. And once a week, you put out a vlog of like weekly recaps, right? Like on tour, whatever. That's the way you're going to do it. Right. Because now the audience is like,
fucking crazy.
That's what I'm saying, because they want to see you there. Right. Just as much as you want to be there. Right. And maybe you provide tips and tricks along the way. Like there's so many different, right? Yeah. And the difference is let's say you start an Instagram page and you're like, I'm the comedy coach. You know, it's the exact same tips that you have in your vlogs where you're teaching people how to do comedy. Right. But the difference is this person now has an Instagram page of 6,000 how to do comedy better videos. And again, has like an ebook or a course on how to do comedy versus you who's decided I'm going to suffer for 3 years, not making any money off of this vlog, right? Same information. And somewhere it starts to work, right? Like, and that's why it doesn't work. And this is something I've noticed with like a lot of people, including on my own journey, is like this way is short-term monetary success with a shelf life, 6 months, really. You get your wave of information, people buy in, you sell your stuff. Maybe you make 20K, maybe you make 300K, but you're not going to be able to do it again, right? Unless you figure out that next level, which that person can translate to building brand. Right. The brand piece, though, is you're gonna quit before it. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's like my take on it.
No, I mean that's sort of that's been Nima's model as well. Like they meet and greets for free, all this kind of stuff, putting out free content for as long as possible, and then the tour. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
it can be done in different ways, especially for short form creators. Is like the relational aspect, like the live. I didn't know he did the lives, for example. Like I can already imagine, like when he's helping someone live, like that's the communication style and the personality that comes through, which enables the relationship through the phone.
Right.
Versus me, at the moment with Wonder Studios, like I don't have a way to connect with the audience. I'm going, here's 3 things I learned growing my photography presence. Like that's so transactional, right? And like that's where we're trying to like, how do we actually get to know who is paying attention to these? Like, how do we bring people out? Like, and that's it's different for everybody. And you just have to find, a vlog used to be the way to do it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, who knows what the fuck, and that's the problem with comedy in general. Like the landscape adjusts so much all the time. Like it's like every 2 years, it's like, now you gotta be doing this. And now you gotta be, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't sleep.
It doesn't fucking sleep. The adapting as a comic is constant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my other tip. Adapt.
So with that, we're gonna have to probably gonna have to wrap it up because we got
probably kids starving over here.
Yeah. If our audience wants to find you, what's the places to check you out? Instagram, website.
I'd say Instagram, at NotMarcAnthony, marcanth.com. You'll find everything there. Yeah.
And any upcoming tour dates? What's next?
No tour dates to the public. Okay. Anyways, big tours coming in the fall though. Don't want to give away much, but maybe me, Nima, Austin, little sketch tour.
Nice.
Potentially. So that's coming. So keep an eye out on that. And that's it. I got another comedy album coming out. Got a vinyl dropping.
Nice. Cool.
Pretty much, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming because this is great.
Dude, yeah, thanks for having me. This is fantastic. Love it.
We'll catch you on the next one, yeah.
Boom.
Dude, that was sick.
That was fun. Dude, thank you so much. Love it.